Okay, everyone, live from Westport.
Hello.
It's the Westport Sunrise Rotary Club.
Right.
Yeah, but I think she's very balanced. Because that's sort of these guys.
I was going to make an announcement. We are live now. You may need to make a couple of announcements.
Have like a splitter.
I'm sorry?
Really,
I just want to get everybody's attention for a moment. Just letting you know that we are videoing. I guess I'm right now. Hold on over there, please.
Oh, we're just. Is it what's time 1:40?
No, it's not at 7:45.
Yeah.
But what it is at 7:30. And I just wanted to give you a reminder that we are videoing it, so we are live. And if you want to let people out there hear your conversations, get closer to the camera. Otherwise, try to be a little respectful, and then that way, it will be kept for posterity.
Good to see you. Nice seeing you. Very good.
Good morning, Arlo. Good. We just both of you, just let you know, we are live streaming now, so any conversations that you have may be broadcast to the 75 million people. Yeah, we're making the Super Bowl look like a nothing event, right? I'm sorry? Yes. And apparently they've ordered a part for the lights. Those are you're flickering, so the part is on order. I'm sure you know about things like that, the part's on order.
I've replaced a few parts recently.
Really? It's kind of like, I know a guy.
Would anybody like a hat?
Sure.
Sure.
I'll take a hat.
Take a hat. Do you have one? Would you like one?
My wife's here right now, yes.
Would anybody like a sunrise?
Oh, did we send you the link to the church service where your daughter was speaking?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, as long as,
Just because we've been busy.
that's fine. As long as you have it.
Yes.
I thought the other family members might want to
Yeah.
have it. And,
Do you have a hat?
Yeah. What is yours? Be here for
Oh, it seems like I just started this.
Yeah, what's your government that goes through?
No, I mean, last week was my first.
Okay. Yes. This is last one is all.
So, Eileen, are you cleaning out your closet? Is that what's going on? Little excess inventory. And...
I did this some earlier by email, but this is so much, during COVID, we could come pick them up, but this is so much easier.
Okay.
Someone got the.
I like buying this because I wear hats all the time for running and
I've never thought about putting my television back.
it's an option.
I can get one
This year.
of those that you clip on. They're like hair extensions. I can get a ponytail.
I can see that. White shirt and go right in. It's like
Mahalo,
yeah.
No, but, like other things, we're gonna make sure that we got candidates that are, what I consider more, like electable in Westport. Yes, oh yeah. One time I looked at the kid player, I
Here's a good night. I like this man. I so good too, man. Which is a huge deal.
Restaurant? I believe it's right across the hall. So as far as recording, yeah, we have recording machines. And I know our church software is putting a and everything we do is captured. Although we've been, I started recording our and then what we do is we record stuff and publish it from people don't want all of it. They want it 20 minutes. And we all together on Sundays, post every month. Starting to see what we started live streaming. And now I'll cameras and stuff.
People take advantage of that.
I'm sorry?
People take advantage of that. They watch from home.
Yeah. Well, we also find people that are snowbirds. They still want to well, of course, we're hoping to start. And I don't know if you know our church.
I know of it. I've been in there, but
We have a sanctuary. Below that, we have our community hall.
yeah.
It's a wide area.
I've been in meetings.
We got, Forts and Jacks all throughout our church. And basically run any event. Any of the events. And we got portable cameras. And they said, no, they were, so you have, yeah, well, this is only the second week we've done this, okay? So we're trying to get the, we're not burning up the internet quite yet, but yes, for those people that, for whatever reason, can't make it, or what we're hoping to be able to.
They raise their hand and talk.
Yeah, it's not. What's funny is this one called StreamYard. I don't know if you heard about it. There's a couple out there on the pop in, another one. We kind of use StreamYard, but you can actually have one of your sources be a Zoom call. Yes. Okay. And so people can do that. I'm using the free version, but our church uses like $99 a month. But you can have overlays. You can have, I think you have a crawl, like a news crawl. You can have multiple sources. In fact, what we do is before our service, we have a camera in the sanctuary. So we put my cell phone like in the garden looking at the sleep off. So my phone is a remote cam box. And so, we have, I call it on the front lawn, people driving up into church. And so that's always a nice thing. It's got a free roll, if you will. And then once it's come to church, we just change the source to be the, to get the thing. And what's neat about it, I feel like this is a tech guy. I don't have to have these things. This is all in the cloud. So I have to have bandwidth for this feed to go into my laptop and the internet to go out. But if I have like 12 sources, I don't have to have enough feeders to handle all 12 sources. Because they go into the cloud as a data center to handle those feeds and publish it. And our church publishes multiple simultaneously. So we publish to YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. And I use things like OBS when we publish it, then everything's on your laptop. You actually have to push all those bits out. Now, at my home, I can do that. I actually got gig internet in my home earlier this year. Good. Altice had a fiber to the home.
Like Dark Nemesis.
No, I well, like I said, I put in their fiber, and I typically get 600-800 megabits. Really nice. Yeah. And it's symmetric too. So like most cable is faster down than up, and this is symmetric. It's the same speed down and up.
So this is really good service. So the problem with them is they insist that you use their and they have some people like me sneaky things that I would do.
We won't tell the internet what those are.
It's kind of, it's like publishing books to the internet, which is stuff that I would like to do. You have to go and get a business cards. And if I've got clients who might want to do smart money, but they do it just
So now we just wait for the business to create. You guys sit down and there's a process. How many dollars, an announcement.
being here.
Are you saying that you are?
I'm not required to. However, the next step I do. Yes, that was a sort of
You can talk tech.
That's right there. No. I know, right? This angel. It's they've ordered a part.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good to see that. It's gonna work out.
Good morning, everybody. I have a little bit of queuing going on here. I'd like to welcome everybody today to our second meeting at the Y, and we're so happy that we're here this morning. I see that CEO Anjali is here. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Right now, I think I'm going to call on Joe, who is the opener for today. What you can do is, I think you know the drill. You do start with the four-way test.
Thanks, George. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'd like to start off with the four-way test. The four-way test are the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? After what, 20 years of remember by heart. So this morning, since summer has hit us, I thought I'd read a poem about summer. This poem is by Ellen Autumn. Summer is a time for fun, to jump and play in the sun. Swimming, sandcastles, slip and slides, bumper cars, and thrilling rides. Summer is a time for fun, to eat a hot dog on a bun. Camping and amusement parks, bright fireworks in the dark. Summer is a time for fun, to blow bubbles and catch each one. Shells, sandals, and the seashore, sprinklers, picnics, and so much more. What I thought about was, having us be confined all last year, this was an appropriate poem for everybody to enjoy their summer. And now that we're back to a semi-normal state, with everybody going to the beach and picnics and having family gatherings. So enjoy the summer, everybody. The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh,
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Thank you.
Can I remember?
I see that Rob is taking the attendance, so would you be good enough to announce who our visitors are this morning? I'll give you the mic.
Well, to my right is Alan Lee. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and congratulations on your appointment. That's great. And we also have Dennis Long, who's the E Club, former.
Yes.
Yes.
President.
So,
And our
let's see, do we
speaker.
have any other?
Our speaker.
Oh, guest speaker, I'm very sorry.
Bryce Stevens.
Yeah, Mr. Stevens, thank you very much for coming and for speaking with us this morning. So happy to have you. I think that's it.
I think so.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. All right, let's see now, what do we have going next? We have, I think it is Happy Dollars, so.
Anybody have happy dollars this morning? Yes, sir.
Here, I think, let's get out in front of the camera here, so people can see this. Get out in front of the camera, there we go. So I have a happy dollar for Father's Day that was last Sunday. My family got a dog. We've never had a dog. And it's a plot hound, a beautiful little animal, brown, I think they call it, I can't remember the term for it. But it's just a wonderful dog. It's been inside, I've had no house training issues with it. It does, as you can imagine, with a puppy, like to chew things. So we're giving lots of things to chew, but so far so good. 5 days into it, we're very happy. So we're looking forward. It's about 16 weeks, 12 to 16 weeks, something like that. It was an abandoned dog we rescued from Georgia. The state, not the country. But yes, it's very nice. We love it. We named it Loki, the god of mischief. It's a boy, or was a boy, I guess.
Before you go forward and further, I just wanted to remind people that we are live streaming this meeting today, so that anyone who isn't here can view us live right now. That means be aware of what you're saying, and the camera picks up everything as well as the mic, so just be forewarned.
That means you can lie in bed and still be coming to the meetings. You don't even have to get up.
Well, I should point out that that we may not be live streaming going forward continually, but we'll see what happens. For the moment, because we're in transition, we're trying to live stream so that people can make that shift. Okay?
Mhm. Yes, sir. If you not only step in front of the mic, also the camera.
I have several happy dollars because our family had a great grandson born on August 23rd, and we had not seen him. He had been up in Falmouth, Massachusetts in isolation since that time. So this last Sunday, his parents brought him down to Westport, and we just had a wonderful celebration with 4 generations.
Yes, sir.
I have 5 happy dollars for George for his year as president and being able to enjoy the podium for two meetings. But the best thing about what's happening in a week from after Wednesday, the best 2 words you'll ever be able to say, past president. So congratulations and a great year, George.
Happy dollars. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm a happy dollar because our speaker, Rose Stevens, agreed to come today from Norwalk. We thought he was going to be on Zoom a few weeks ago. And so I'm really appreciative of the fact that he's here with us this morning. Thank you, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Happy, sad, happy dollar. On the happy, sad thing, I'm leaving today to go to Colorado to go spread my mother's ashes. I grew up in Colorado, it'll be very melancholy. But it'll be wonderful to remember all the memories and the importance that she held in my brother's and my life. So that's good and bad. My other happy dollar is for George and for Rick. I'm sure Rick is in bed right now. A peaceful transition, unless, are we storing the why later on? I can't remember.
Thank you. Yvonne, would you kindly stand up?
Okay. 15 happy dollars. So last night, I was with my husband, who belongs to the other Rotary Club, at their Pass the Gavel. And they were recounting all the accomplishments of their club during the year, and I'm listening to them and thinking, we did all those things. We had a lot of activities and fundraisers and fellowship. And then when the gavel was passed to Lila, who's their new president for the coming year, she was talking about how Rotary is a unique organization in that it's not a top-down CEO tells everybody what to do, but then the regular members come up with ideas and collaboratively decide the direction of the club, and nobody from above, tells you what to do. I mean, she was doing that in the context of sort of revving up the membership to be ready to do the same thing again this year. But what I was thinking about was not only all the things we've gotten done this year, but how brilliantly George has led the board and the club. He never tells us what to do, he guides us. And that job was even more difficult because we were all on Zoom. It wasn't like he could sit there and nudge you, don't say that to me. So these 15 happy dollars I just gave are for George, well, and for everyone because we all had to contribute. For people who faithfully signed up for Zoom every week, or maybe only a couple of times, even if you were doing it all day, for your job, and for George, for his patience, his perseverance. He did have a lot of good ideas that he managed to get us to implement, even though we didn't know that they were his ideas, because he never actually told us, do this, do that. So, thank you, George. You're going to be a tough act to follow, but I'm sure that Rick and Bruce will carry on.
Well, thank you very much. I just have to share with you, a lot of presidents, when they're coming into to be a president, they have meetings, you might say, or they have conversations with past presidents to get an idea of what they should and shouldn't do. And one of the things which resonated with me was listen to what your club members are saying, and if they're enthusiastic about something, tell them, run with it. Go for it. And I think that was what I tried to do throughout my entire, year as president of an unusual period in time. So thank you all for coming to me with ideas. Thank you all for wanting to follow through with them, because without the club members, we would have been in a much different place right now, I think, because we were all so much of a family pulling together. So thank you. Don't thank me, thank you.
Happy dollars. Pretty slim pickings this morning. Not many people get. Oh, Ron, you look generous this morning, Sally.
Here's a quick happy dollar. I'm sorry, it's a quick happy dollar. And happy to be here. But it's interesting that my son was, after he graduated from Penn, number one in his class in the master's program, it was tough. It was kind of tough to get a job. So he had a choice between going to the consulting field, going to McKinsey or Deloitte, and which are two great firms. And he chose Deloitte, and he's going to be working out of the Washington D.C. office. He's actually working now. He's doing a major project with the CDC on vaccines. So I'm working at a very high level. So I'm really proud of that, and hopefully he'll have a good career with Deloitte. Thanks.
Thank you.
Dick, over here. I have a happy dog. And I have my own life.
The other one works better for
I don't care. I want this. Now, the other one worked much better than this, but I have a way. Here's your $5. And my happy dollar is that I'm able to be here today to thank everybody again. But more importantly, this is my last meeting. I don't have any more to have to worry about. It's like I almost feel like I started. I think.
Not your last meeting, though. You do coming meetings.
Yeah, I'll be coming to meetings. It's the last meeting that I'll be officiating over, right, thank you. But no, really, I feel like I just started this, and I think I did last week. It's just last week we did this. But thank you all again. That's my $5 happy.
Thank you, George. Thank you. Okay,
That's it.
I'll
Liz
pass the
Liz
mic.
has one. Liz has one.
Last but not least.
How many anybody carries cash? Okay, I'll put $3 in. Okay, first of all, I want to thank Eileen for being my co-chair in membership this year. It was a real difficult year because we couldn't meet people, but we were able to get 5 new members, and we just had great collaboration, and after a while, we just knew what to do, and we just say, "Oh, I'll take it, and you do that," and okay, it was wonderful. And I had the same relationship with a lot of people, George, Yvonne, Sheila, I don't know, you probably got tons of emails from me because then you'll know what I'm talking about. But he's like, okay, I got it, I'll take care of it. And I think that's the synergy of this club, that everyone collaborates together. It's all teamwork, and it's not so much like, oh, my title is this and I don't do that, or that's not my area, my jurisdiction, I'm not involved with this. Because there's a lot of crossover, everyone has skills that they bring in and talent, and that's how I think club keeps evolving and going forward and changing for the good and getting new ideas. Okay, that's it. Bye.
I think Joe is handing out tickets right now to everybody because we're sort of resurrecting an old policy or an old thing we did, which was to sell raffles, or I should say, what were they called again? I forgot. It's been a year now. Not raffles.
We just call them
Raffle tickets. Okay, they were called raffle tickets. All right. It sort of sounds like a raffle, and because the opener usually brought a bottle of wine, and Joe brought the bottle of wine. So when he gets done handing out all the tickets, we'll ask Anjali to please pick lucky number out of the hat. Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure, Nick, we have another
My happy dollar is for our daughter Margot, who is finishing her MFA in cinema at San Francisco State University. And she is working on her master's thesis project, which is a film called Harbor. And she had a fundraising campaign and raised most of the money that she needed for that to proceed with her getting her directors and assistants and whatnot. And so and she's going to be filming in August in San Francisco. So I'm just really delighted that this is I can't believe she's been out in California for 3 years already. So it's been fast, but she's doing good. So we're really excited. And I'll share that with you, the film, when it gets done. It's really exciting. Yep.
No other happy dollars at this point, then if everyone has received, announcements. We'll do the raffle first, and then we'll do the announcements after that.
Everybody get a ticket?
Thank you. Everybody got a ticket?
Everybody have a ticket?
Be good enough to.
All right.
We're all set?
Yeah, drum roll.
The magic ticket is 980-2102.
Oh, 102.
Right here.
Open it now.
It says it's breakfast wine.
Super. All right, we're on announcements now. So does anyone have an announcement today? Over here?
Coming right up.
Okay, so you guys heard me tease it a couple of times. We're going to be doing a duck race this year, a virtual duck race this year. Your involvement will be exactly the same as previous years, minus the labor. which means in a couple of weeks, I will produce some emails for you guys to send out to your friends. All you'll need to do is literally just forward it to everybody you know, saying, hey, we're having a duck race, it's gonna be virtual this year, it's not actually on the water. Hey, Jeff. And that's all you're gonna need to do. And then try to get as many people as possible to buy the tickets. So it should be very easy. And then we're gonna do a drawing instead of our very, very, very convoluted way of drawing the raffle numbers, which was throwing the ducks in the water, letting them drift down, picking them out. Oh my gosh. We could just do this by drawing numbers, we realized. So that's what we're gonna do. On August 6th, at a meeting here, we're actually just gonna draw the numbers, just like a regular raffle. So everything will be the same except for the actual duck race. We hope to raise a lot of money. This is obviously our main fundraiser. So it'll be a couple weeks before we have some materials for you guys to send out, try to encourage friends and do it through social media and everything like that. But I hope that everybody participates much more than we ever have in the past. And so we can raise a lot of money because obviously we have a lot of charities that we really need to support and a lot of neighbors in need. So
Will there be any in-person component, like a fair that day?
there will not be any in-person
It's
component.
just all virtual, we're selling the tickets?
We may be doing sort of a fair or something later on in the year, but I wanted to get on this and get the, raise the money as quick as possible.
Is there any thought about putting Sunny out on Jessup Green?
We are definitely gonna do both ducks. What we'd like to do is both ducks. Sunny, stationary on Jessup Green.
Yeah.
And Ralphie moving around to different locations. We're actually gonna offer people sponsorships, we're gonna ask for sponsors. And put the duck in front of their business. Yes, you want some business, you want some notoriety, you want people to notice you. If you're, say, Mitchell's, we'll put Ralphie in front of you, in front of your place for a few days. And then move him to Starbucks, and then move him to, I don't know, Bar Taco or whatever. So that'll be part of it, moving, obviously, because of Sonny's weight problem, doesn't have the ability to move. However, Ralph has been working out and can move a little bit better. So we'll be using that. And then I'm thinking maybe a reunion right before the raffle. So
What day is the drawing?
the drawing will be August 6th,
August 6th.
which is a Friday.
When do we start selling tickets?
July 17th. So we'll have 3 weeks. I think that's about right. You can tease it with people if you'd like, and it'll all be online. So you'll just say, hey, I don't need to give you a physical ticket. Say, you know what? Here, go buy online. Click here. It'll be like the Super Bowl raffle. We have a lot of people do that. Hopefully, we have a lot more do the duck raffle. Just click online, enter your credit card, and we'll also do the same thing about designating a charity. If they would say they'd like to say, hey, if I win, I'll take the money. Or hey, if I win, give it to Homes with Hope or something like that. So,
Are we will the board be deciding which charities get on that list?
yeah, so we've got a few weeks to do that.
Because it does take funds away from charitable giving, if it goes to specific charities in advance.
It actually doesn't, because it's their winnings. It's if I win, my winnings go there.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah,
right.
so
Yeah,
it's
good point.
actually, it adds to it.
Yes, right.
So instead of just making, $5,000 or $10,000, we'll distribute
Yeah, good point.
$15,000.
Just win-win.
That's great. Any other questions for now, other than, hey, I'm really excited?
I knew if we gave you long enough, you'd come up with some good idea. Thank you. Now, listen though, we can also have this live streaming when we do the raffle, right?
That's the
whole
intention. The intention is to have it live streaming and have, hopefully, people come here to see the raffle. Oh, but they also get to attend a meeting and see how wonderful Rotary is, and then we triple our membership. Of all duck lovers.
Great, thanks, thank you. Anyone else with an announcement? Ron?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thanks to those who signed up for the second shift. We do have a food drive going on from 10 to 2 tomorrow at the rear parking lot of Saugatuck Congregational Church. Thanks to Dan Woog at 06880 and others that I've been reaching out to, plus the signs I put in front of Saugatuck Congregational Church. We're hopefully going to have a good turnout of people donating food in support of the person-to-person food pantry in Norwalk. So the weather looks pretty good. It's going to be cloudy and warm, but I have a lot of volunteers. Those in the first shift, that they can arrive at about 9:45 so we can handle the logistics of the event. That would be great. I'll send out an email about that later. But I'm excited about it. Hopefully we'll have a good turnout and stock the shelves, fill that van with as much food as we can and have a good, successful food drive. So thank you very much for those who volunteered. And
we're looking forward to having a great event tomorrow. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob, for setting it up.
Okay, I've got a few announcements from the district, I think, which affect everybody. First, Angelina, welcome. I hear you're from Summit. I was a member of the Millburn, New Jersey Rotary Club, right next door. And I was the past president of the Millburn Short Hills Chamber for 4 years, 1998 to 2002. So did a lot with Summit, and I've been to Y there many, many times. So, yeah, welcome. Okay. This Sunday is the district installation brunch, where Rick will be installed, all the presidents will be installed. It's at the Grassy Hill Country Club in Orange. You can go online. If you have any questions, you can call me. I'd like to see some other people from this club there, to celebrate, Rick coming in as president. It's installation brunch for DGs, district governor, which is Jeff Krause, AGs, which are the assistant governors, and all the presidents. And the announcement that I mentioned last week, I'm taking a different position in the district for the past 3 years. District jobs are 3 years. My job was pretty intense. I had 58 clubs, and I had to visit them twice, every club twice during the year, which is a lot. With Zoom, it was a lot easier than driving up to Mystic and New London and whatever. So I'll still be involved in membership, helping the clubs. I've got a great relationship with so many of the clubs and their members. But I'm going to be taking the new position of the assistant governor for this area, and that's, in other words, I'll be in charge of both. I'll be overseeing both Westport clubs, Wilton and Norwalk. So we're going to hit the ground running. We're going to start doing quarterly meetings with the presidents. I'm going to do monthly meetings. Clearly, my focus is membership. That being said, I'm also coming back after 4 years of membership chair of this club. I'm coming back as membership chair again of this club, besides everything else I'm doing. And I'm going to be working very hard, working with Liz and Paul, training them, giving them some of the best practices that other membership chairs across the state and in our zone, which is 22 districts. And we got some great, there's some great success stories. So we're looking now how that affects all of you. Okay, everyone's on the membership committee, everybody here. Okay, I used to say that when I was president, and the real key is we'd like everyone to bring in, definitely try to bring in one guest per year. It's not very hard. So let's work on that. This past Saturday, we had a retreat, leadership retreat at Jack Solomon, our former district governor. He owns an island in East Hampton, Connecticut. It's a real island. People had an old Boy Scout camp, really kind of cool. It's got a big lodge, and he's got 10 cabins, and he rents them out to corporations for team building or whatever. So we had our leadership. The only way to get there is by boat. So all of the AGs, all the district leadership was there. I'll give you a quick synopsis. Major focus of mine is four-way test contest. Okay, and of the 58 clubs in the district, only 12 clubs last year participated. So, and that's kind of been between 12 and 20. So, we're doing great. Whether or not our other Westport club, but I can tell you that the 4 clubs in my new district, my new area, we're going to have people for the four-way test. So we want to get that going right away. And then there's a major image. A lot of you know Robert Friend, Robert and I and Colin Gershon worked so hard the past 3 years building, image, whatever. So for example, like our fleece jackets, we're bringing those back. Price went up a little bit, $1 more, $39. You try to wear the things. I know. Thanks so much to Eileen for the hats. And again, it just people see it and whatever. Hey, wow! I see Westport, Sunrise, Rotary all over the place. So these are $39, and I can take orders for those. And then, major focus on the foundation and Bruce, on raising funds. We should, there's some, and you should be reaching out to your other, you'll be the, president-elect, and at your meetings, talk about the fundraising. That's a big focus of Chuck Krause. And that's pretty much it. So I'm asking you, if you have any questions about the district, George mentioned something to me today, and he gets a lot of emails as a president, including a lot. And my emails to the presidents and presidents-elect, I always put down who the email is to, because I come, on the corporate level, that's what you should do. And George said to me, he said, I don't know if everybody in the club is getting it's true, if everyone in the club is getting the email or not. So if you have any questions, the district is only here to help you out. If you have any questions, please give me a call. And because, we really want to work very closely with all the clubs and help them grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. It's a little bit like preaching to the choir with this group, of course, because as we mentioned earlier, we were able to still sustain our numbers. We took on 5 new members this year, and we were part of the 4-way test contest. So we've been consistently involved with all of that, and I really just want to say thank you again to the club members for going out and doing all that this past year. Any other announcements? Any other announcements by anybody? Liz, you have one? Yes.
Just one reminder that this Wednesday is our changeover party at Evans Party Park, so we'll be signing up. We'll see you there at 5:30. And that's it rains when you get an email.
Okay, thank you. The other thing I wanted to ask, I want to see a show of hands for a meeting for next Friday, which is the 2nd of July. It's a holiday weekend. So how many here would want to come back here on Friday the 2nd and have a meeting? How many would prefer not to have a meeting? We're not going to do a diner. It'll just be straight, either not have a meeting or have a meeting here. So.
I don't prefer, it's just we not be able to attend.
Oh, okay. Well, so let me see the show of hands again of how many people want to have a meeting. Well, it doesn't look like there's enough people here that want to have that meeting. So we'll have the next meeting, I guess it'll be on the 9th, the 9th of July. So that'll be Rick's first meeting. I'm doing this on his behalf since he wasn't able to be here today. So the next meeting after today will be on the 9th. Okay. Food drive's already been mentioned. Changeover party's been already mentioned. And Ron also mentioned to bring a friend to these meetings. Right now, it's still free, so to speak. So we'll just ask everyone that you may have an interest in joining Rotary or know about Rotary to come with you, please. The other thing that I wanted to just quickly mention, then we'll get right into the program, is that for those who weren't aware or have forgotten, there is a concessionaire who is still waiting for his, it is a he, I believe, his permitting from the health department. We've been trying to help work that through a bit. So what that means is that when we do come to these meetings now, we'll be able to stop off on our way down and pick up whatever we may want to eat as our breakfast treat. Pay for it, of course. But just letting you know that's what our plan is going forward, okay? Great. Now, I think if Katie, if you would like to introduce our speaker, that would be nice.
Sure, okay, here's my presentation. Yeah, so Roy Fuchs actually had the idea this morning. I'll just pretend.
I'm sorry, quickly, I forgot one thing. Birthdays and anniversaries, with being live, I kind of have to get used to what this all means. There's one birthday to announce for this coming week. It's Mark Sabosley, and it'll be on June 28th. He's not here right now, but he is a member of our club still, which is great. And anniversaries of when people joined our club are Carol Rubenstein, who joined our club in June 30th of 1998. Charlie Havistro, June 30th of 2002. And Joe Fuchs Luscombe, June 30th of 1996. And all these members are active. Joe Fuchs has decided she's not going to re-up this coming year, but I think she's entitled after all these years. So congratulations to everybody who is still part of our club. Thank you.
Okay, Do I need a mic?
We can.
No, okay. So anyway, Roy Phoebes had the idea of the topic of cybersecurity, after all the high profile cyber hacks and ransom and all that. So coincidentally, a friend of mine is married to Ray Stevens. So I said, why don't you come? He's been doing some talks about, IT and how important the security aspect is. So that's basically what we're going to hear this morning. So welcome. Thank you.
I'm going to do this without a mic. Is that okay for everybody?
Sure. Thanks.
So this will be the first time I actually haven't got to tell everybody to mute themselves, but feel free to mute yourself. This is the first time I've done this in person for 2 years. So.
Oh my God.
My name is Ray Stevens. I am an independent consultant, Harmony Business Technology. I have been IT since the early 80s. I was writing this slide and suddenly realized I've been doing IT for 35 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've been in America since 1997. Yes, the accent that you are hearing is London. And I've been running Harmony Business since 2005. So what you get from that is I'm older than I look, and I have been here for a while. And I'm a technology guy. That's who I am. I am not going to tell you that I am a cyber security specialist. Those guys exist, and they are scary as hell. They're also really, really expensive. I recently put somebody in touch with one of those guys who I know, and they were going to do a sweep of a house, and it was going to cost $10,000 for 1 day's engagement.
Oh my God.
They're expensive. I am just a regular IT guy. But I've been around for a while, and I've seen a few things. So hopefully I can impart some knowledge, impart some experience, and some suggestions. And as we go through this, I'm very much more interactive. This is why I'm not using the mic, because of the arms are going around. If you feel you have a question or you want to ask a point, please raise your hand. I am so tangential in everything I talk about.
Oh, well, you're in the right place.
Yeah. I am going to skip this.
Some recipes.
Oh, there's some recipes. Yeah. The talking points for today. Can everybody see this? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Talking points. I will make this presentation available as a PDF to anybody who wants it, so you don't have to write notes and take things down. Things I'm going to talk about today. Some attack points. How they get at you. What are the things you should be wary of? What are you going to be looking at? I have some stories to tell. I have some recipes, and then the Q&A at the end. No, just ask questions. That's what we're doing. I have one task this morning. One task. And that's to scare you. I want you to be scared, and I want you to be aware of what's going on. I have one graphic with apologies to Ron, who's seen this presentation twice now with the B&I group. And I didn't change the graphic, sorry Ron. Types of attack. What is out there? I want to be clear on some terminology that we use. Everyone loves using the word virus. Everyone loves using the word malware. They are all very different animals. They all come out of the same stable. Worms is on that list because if you are as old as I am, you will remember there was a worm that actually attacked the Department of Defense in this country in the 60s and actually took out most of the defense system. And a worm simply is an irritating program that will do something and jump from one machine to another on a network. And a lot of the worms attacked the old Unix and the mainframe systems, but the technology that they used is still kicking around. Viruses. Anyone who's got a Windows machine from Windows 95 will remember what a virus is, because it's that thing that will stop programs working and make it go to websites that you don't care about. No, I didn't go to that porn site, honestly did. So that kind of thing. Malware is like a mosquito. They're irritating, they don't do much. Done. That's malware. It's this. It's the pop-ups. It's the little silly things that come onto your machine that get there. That pop up something that you haven't looked at before. Again, it's irritating, you can get rid of it pretty easily. But the worst, in my personal opinion, out right now is that. Because that one takes all the worst aspects of the other three, gets on your machine, corrupts your files so you can't read them, and then offers to unencrypt it if you give them money. Brilliant. Brilliant business model. Do it with Bitcoin, they'll never find you. I'll talk more about this, but clearly this is what hit Colonial. That's what took the pipeline down. And one of my stories is about that, not them specifically, but my personal experience before that happened. So these are types of attacks. Ransomware is the one you're going to worry about today. Viruses, you've always had to worry about. Everyone's got a virus protection on their machine. Great. But the ransomware one is a little bit more insidious. How do they get to you? Those are the attacks that are there. How are they going to attack you? Top of the list. Email. You all get that email that you, Amazon, we've just taken an order from you. What? No. Facebook, friends that you've never heard of before who are trying to send you links. Email is how they're going to get to you. That one I'm going to be talking about. Websites. Usually from within an email, but be careful with the websites that you're going to. That's also how they're going to get to you. I'm going to teach you a few things to look out for on websites. Social media and social hacking. Social media, I do not like Facebook. I will tell you right now. I have good friends of mine who are social media experts. I don't know if anybody here is that. Get your business out there, go to social media. That's great, but I personally avoid it because they will use it to not necessarily attack your computer, but they will attack you. They will throw a phone number up on a screen with promises of gold and lattice and myrrh. Good grief, come, click this, phone this number. We'll send you a whole PC for $1. They get you on the phone, and then they'll start talking to you, and then they will sound like Microsoft. Social media, social hacking, they're after you. And the final one is direct attacks. I have my other story is talking about a direct attack and some personal experience in that front. So we'll get to this. This is an actual email that a client sent me. I have redacted out that person's name for that purpose. Oh my God, Amazon. You recently ordered a MacBook Pro, and it's been placed with a service fee, and we're sending it to this random address. Pretty good, right? That logo's nice. Gotta be real. Order delivery, info@amazonusnow.com. That sounds genuine, right?
Nope.
Nope, fake. Take a moment. When you see those emails come in, take one moment, calm down, and look at who is sending it. How do I know that's fake? Really easy. Put it in a web browser. Just go to a web browser and put that last part of the email address in, the domain name, and it'll tell you. Site not available. Fake email. Yes, question.
If you can also just log into your Amazon account and look at your orders and reassure yourself that you did not order whatever that is.
The problem is, and thank you, very good point. The problem is, they will send you an email and we're all busy people, oh my God, and you're rushing, what's this? And everyone panics. It's just human, it's that social hacking, because what they're after you, what they want you to do is phone that number. They want you on the phone, because their next thing is, well, if you give us your credit card number, we'll look it up on our system. Oh, we'll credit you back the $3,000. That's what they're going to do. And remember, they can send this one email out thousands of times, and they just need one person to pick up the phone. Don't be that person. Took me a while to do the animation. Come on, it was good. Thank you. Fishing for compliments. For this presentation, I went looking for spam. I found one in my spam filter. We're renewing you. That's fantastic. Oh, the other good thing is this. Read the email. Sometimes I should just read it, because the English is not that good.
Right.
If you click on an email, it will show you the actual part of the email. So an email address is broken into two parts. The actual email itself and what we call the display name. Your email client, Outlook, Gmail, the Thunderbird, whatever you're using, even on your iPhone, will show you the display name first. It hides the email address behind it. So you need to click on it to see that this email address here that has got nothing to do with invoicing, but just click on it and see where it came from. Because you never quite know who you're going to be replying to. So if Joe's sending you an email, when you hit reply, it will say Joe Biden, but it's off to the White House, off to Kremlin. Any questions?
Not serious.
No. I actually, funny enough, when I used to do this presentation, I used to actually have a side process run that used to send everybody that email address while I was doing it. One final one, actually, from my dear wife. This one's great because this is also designed to scare you. Because she was sent this suspicious activity detected, and it's Google, and this is her email account, and this is her name. And it's, oh my God, yes, that was me. Well, no, it wasn't. Stop. I mean, look, Russia. Of course you're going to panic, right? So what do you need to do with this one? Well, firstly, calm down, look at that logo. Really? It's not that good. But here's what I want you to do. Before you actually click on the button that says, no, that's not me, wait, pause, take a second. If you do that on this email, it comes up with this list of random emails, and all it's going to do is generate an email for you to send off to. Doesn't sound pretty, yeah, that's fine. All I'm doing is sending an email, right? I didn't do animations. If you look right in the middle of this, there's an inbox email in Russia. It's a list manufacturer. So you click on it and you say, no, that's me, that's fine, thank you, click. All that email goes out, and the one right in the middle of that pile grabs your email. Now you're on an email list. Now they know you're real. Now they can come back after you. This is the beginning of a longer attack. But now they know that your email is real, you're open.
So if we just delete that,
Oh, it's fine.
Get it.
Delete it, take
Then
it,
that's-
throw it away. Okay.
Get that.
But what I'm trying to instill in you is this. Pause. As the lady said over there, that's right over there. Go check your orders, go check your credit card. If they said they took $3,000, check it. Is this login blocked attempt? It was a blocked attempt, who cares? But they're using words to scare you, so.
Good question. So when you're in your email inbox and you've got 100 things and probably half of them are spam, the simple act of clicking on it to see more, does that notify you? Is that dangerous? Should you even go to that level? Because if it gets, maybe
Yeah,
the
if you could-
subject line is, it could be, it might not be.
Yes, don't go into the email. If you're looking at the email from and the subject, and it's clearly a bad email, don't even go into it. Because if you go into it, it's called a magic pixel. What it does is it notifies the person at the other end that you've already picked up your email. There's a setting in Outlook, and there's a setting in a lot of email that will actually prevent you. It doesn't load the graphic images. Yeah, okay, so I was.
That's not exactly, I had another question. When you delete, if you have a bunch of unopened emails, you delete one, it automatically goes to the next one.
Yep.
So,
Oh.
just that.
The setting in your setting in your account is don't load graphics by default.
Right.
And it's called a magic pixel because what they do is they include one graphic which is exactly 1 pixel. So you don't see it on the screen, but the very act of opening that image notifies them that you are a real person and you just verified your email. That way, wait, should look first.
So I have my email set up so I can see a preview of it. That's not the same as opening, right? So I can see the preview, I can see the whole email, and if it looks like spam, I just delete it before I open it.
Essentially, yeah.
Preview the same as opening it?
It depends very much on the
That's-
client, but you look for the setting that says, don't load images.
Okay.
If you go into a preview and there's a button that says, load the images for this email, that's the bit that's gonna cause that trip. So,
Question is whether or not you should delete or junk. Put it into junk, does it matter?
it doesn't matter. It's the nomenclature of the folders. The only thing different between a deleted folder and a spam folder is the deleted items is deleted. And when you purge and empty your trash, that will get deleted.
Just a quick question on top of that. It has to do with something differently, but when you get emails of some manufacturer of some device that says, they're making widgets and you don't want to subscribe to that email list any longer, and you hit unsubscribe at the bottom. And then they take you and they say you have been successfully unsubscribed, but to confirm what is your email address. Is that troublesome?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it can be. I mean, go back to slide number 1. I'm here to scare you. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. Do due diligence. See where you're going. Look at the domain names that you're doing. And also, 9 out of 10 times, you're coming back to checking your Amazon account. You'll know whether or not you subscribe to something.
Does iPhone have that option to not load graphics?
That's a super question.
All right, I'll figure it out. I'll Google it.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does. That's a very good question. Anything while we're here? Ron?
Okay, so I have a question and a testimonial. I've known Ray for a while now. I've seen his presentation. Every time I see it, it's amazing. I tell my clients, make sure ransomware is a big thing. And I've had people who've been subjected to ransomware. Make sure you get, make sure you have a business, make sure you get proper insurance covering you for ransomware. Extremely important.
Thank you. A point I'm going to be making in a minute.
I'm not through yet.
Oh, sorry. Foolish of to assume that you were done in under a minute.
Yeah. So the testimonial again, Ray deals with, he handles my wife's retail business. He does a great job, and I've known him for a while, and I've just heard a lot of testimonials. And the question, yesterday Microsoft came out and announced Windows 11.
Oh, yeah, I missed that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
you. All right, we'll come back.
Okay, so the question I have, so there wasn't a lot of specificity on Windows 11, whatever, but the Windows, a lot of people don't buy, like, one of the McAfee or whatever, but Windows has something called Windows Defender. How do you feel about that? Which, by the way, comes in, if you have Windows 10, it automatically have Windows Defender, there's no additional charge.
Yes, it does.
Okay, thanks, Yvonne.
Thank you. Ron's question, what do I feel about Windows? I've got about an hour of a presentation on it, so let's keep it short. It's good enough, but it's not great. And the reality is with every antivirus, I'm going to tell you, keep your antivirus up to date, keep your machine up to date, keep all of this up to date. But the reality is, and what I'm trying to instill here is the last line of defense is you, is your sensibility and watching out to don't go opening stupid emails. Windows Defender is a suitably good enough product. There are antivirus programs out there that I like, and there are antivirus programs that I hate. I used to be a huge fan of McAfee, not so much anymore. Sorry. It's a Defender's good. Defender's, if that's all you're going to use, that's fine. But I question Microsoft's antivirus domain. They're Microsoft writes so many different programs. How big is the Defender? McAfee, Symantec, Sophos, they are one company focused on one job. Different time. Social media. I've already made my statement about Facebook. I'm sorry, I jumped the slide, but we're good? No other questions?
We have about 20-25 minutes.
Okay, left?
Wow.
No, 15.
Well, I'm being gracious.
Oh.
I have to get out.
You have 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Thank you. Social media. Remember this one thing. Everything you post is public. I don't care what your settings on Facebook. I don't care what you think. Everything you post, consider it public. Think of it like this. How much information would you give about yourself to a stranger in a bar? If you are using Facebook as a tool for your business, that is great. But have them on a separate account. For the love of all things good, don't run the same account for your business and your personal life. Because people will track that down. And if they track it down, they will get to you again because now they just validated email addresses. Think about, if you're handing information out, how you want to present it and how you would deal with somebody who was in the bar. See, I told you, I only have one graphic. That's it. 2 stories. So about 3 years ago, I was kind of curious on exactly how noisy it was on the internet and exactly how scary it is. So I had a machine and I literally put it on the internet. It was like the goat in Jurassic Park. It was on a leash. There you go. There's nothing on the machine. I just left it running there. 2 days later, I went back to it. What you're watching here is a slightly time-lapse photograph, a video of the attempted logins to that machine. There were 6,800 attempts in 24 hours. For those of you who aren't good at math, that's roughly 4 a minute. They are knocking on the door of your firewall at home 4 times a minute.
Same people or different people?
Brilliant question. I wish I'd given you money for that.
Oh.
It came from 207 different locations throughout the world. USA scores 16% of that. Korea, 7. France, 6. What I mean? Russia, 3%. And closely followed, yes! Everybody else on the planet was 33%. Does anybody want to guess?
China.
Yes!
You get a laptop?
Yes, you do. If you give me $1 on your credit card, I'll do that. They are knocking on the door of your house right now. If anybody in this room is still using Apple hardware at home, the towers and the flat pancakes, please consider replacing them. Apple don't make them in. Look, I'm an Apple laptop user. I used to love their hardware, but if you're still using it, go get new stuff. Okay?
Like the router?
Yes. A lot of people still use it because Apple aren't updating it. And if they find a hole 4 times a minute, they're knocking on the door.
Because it's old.
Yeah. Apple aren't updating it, so it's going to be.
Why aren't they?
Because they got out of business.
So
They went out of business. They stopped making that hardware because Google and Netgear and everybody else.
So you should turn your computers off when you're not at home or at the office. Keep these millions of attempts.
You've got a firewall between your laptop and the outside world. It's the firewall I'm worried about. The Netgear, the whatever you've got in the corner of the house next to the modem. But keep the firmware update on that as well. Keep that firmware update on it and just look at the age of that. If you've got a router that's over 5 years old, I would strongly recommend replacing it because it's going to have the newer software.
What about, I like Xfinity I have, and they give me a router, the modem with the router, how is that?
That's okay. They're going to do the management on that. There's some value in doing that.
Okay.
So that's not a problem. And it's a newer box.
Yeah.
And you're renting it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Can you I just broke my, it broke. Can I have a new one, please? That's what you're renting it for. But I know a lot of it. Look, I'll be absolute, hey, full disclosure, I only just replaced my Apple hardware at home 8 months ago. So I can now stand here and be cocky about it. Second story, April 19th, this year, I get woken up with this text message from my client. This is ransomware. This is what it looks like. This is scary. They had four days.
How do you know it's real? How do you know it's real?
Because all the files got corrupted. None of you can't see it from here. None of the files would open. This was on the screen. We had to shut their network down. We got them back online in 10 hours. Talk about how we did that. But I'm going to emphasize a point that Ron made. If you are running a business, check your cyber security policies with your insurance companies. Check and read it very carefully.
I was going to ask you about cyber insurance. What does it do? Someone just had, one of my clients just said to me, as a requirement to work with them, we're going to have cyber insurance. This is the first time we're actually looking at it. What does it give me? Is that basically protection against this?
Yes. So here's the story. Here's the essence of the story that I'm going to pass on to you. I'm not an insurance agent, so the finagling of what I'm about to say, go check. This company, we were able to recover their data within 10 hours. And by the way, this affected 8 machines on their network, so we shut everything down and slowly brought everything back into line, testing every machine. That's why it took 10 hours. If we hadn't done the carefully bringing things back up, we probably could have done it in 4. But we had to be careful because this is a medical facility and therefore HIPAA compliance was a big issue, which meant every patient that they got with a social security number in their system, we had to be super, super careful. So we were doing really well, team of us running around, getting it all working. They went to put a claim in on the insurance. And there's a clause in their cybersecurity. So what the claim basically was anticipated loss of business, paying for the smart IT guys who are doing the recovery. There was a long questionnaire, including how much money did you give away. So there was all these questions, and classic insurance company, they go off into a huddle and do this. No, we're not paying you. Because there's a clause in the cybersecurity agreement which says none of it will kick in for the first 12 hours. If we'd taken another 2 hours and dragged our heels, our bill would have been covered. check your policies, people, please. Sorry, I also bad things to say about insurance companies,
So
so.
is the policy, so do they pay the ransom?
No, oh no.
So how did you get around it without paying the ransom? Oh.
Put on his cape.
You guys work together?
All right, so that was all the scary stuff. Let me push on because I am on a. So how do we stop all this? We can't. They're still going to send you emails. They're still going to be knocking on your door. They're still going to be sending you stuff to try and drag you into their world. They're certainly going to try and send you something that's going to be ransomware. But there is an old adage in the security world, which is this: we can slow them down. Better security. Oh look, a blue background, not the black one that was there. This is the good news. What I said about firewalls. Make sure you keep your firewall up to date. Make sure you're using a modern one that's supported by the manufacturer. Apple don't manufacture and support them. If you're fine. Keeping virus software up to date. Just because you've got it installed doesn't mean it's up to date. You do have to pay that subscription. I came across a lady recently whose virus protection was out of date by 864 days. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Please keep it up to date. So.
Yeah, the other question I have is now that we're in this, the Apple approach versus the Amazon or Google approach, the integrated, when you have Zoom and you have Team, my point is, are you better off having in an office environment going with this like a 365 and using Teams and having it integrated, having all the integrated tools, you have the email, the server, having it all as opposed to using Zoom and, again, you're clubbing it together, which creates vulnerabilities in your data security or your security.
Can I answer that in a couple of slides? Yeah. And a very, very short answer for that. Actually, no, I'll answer it on the next bullet. I remember it's here. Having everything integrated does leave you slightly exposed because if that if that account for you gets compromised, then you have a problem. But my next bullet is make sure you've got good passwords. Your dog's name is not a good password. And you know why? Because you posted a picture of your dog on Facebook. I know your email address and I know your dog's name.
So LastPass and programs like that where they generate, are you gonna talk about that? Because that's what I do.
Off-site backups. Sorry, somebody asked me how do we recover the sorry, yes, I don't remember who asked the question. Backups is how we got them back online. Have good backups and make sure they are off-site. Oh, a slide about off-site backups. When you are looking at solutions for doing backups, make sure that they've got some statement about how do they deal with ransomware. We'll cover this. It's sometimes referred to as version control. It's I have a file, I create, it gets backed up, I modify it, it gets backed up, I modify it, gets backed up, but I can go back to all three of those versions. That's a nice feature to have in your backup. Make sure your backup solution is automatic. A number of people that I come across who are like, oh yeah, I have QuickBooks, I do everything in QuickBooks, and I put everything on this USB stick. Okay, how many times a week do you do that? Usually Monday, sometimes Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. No, it's got to be automatic. You can't rely on yourself to do this. It has to be automatic and it has to be done. If it's not done daily, more than that. I have 2 suggested vendors. Carbonite, I like, and there's a program called, there's a company locally called Data, which you should all know about because it's one of Norwalk's greatest victories. That this company got set up 10 years ago, I think, and they are now global. And they have a really, really good product. that takes your data once an hour, stores it, and sends it to the cloud. It's off-site. So when your machine gets attacked with ransomware, the ransomware can't get to those files because they are off in the cloud. They're disconnected from your machine. Does everybody understand that subtle difference? My wife hated me when I put this in because she said, I do that. I'm like, well, don't stop it. Not Dropbox, not OneDrive. I can already feel 3 or 4 people in here cringing. I use Dropbox all the time. Yes, but it's not a backup tool. It's not a good backup tool. It was never designed to be a backup tool. It's designed to be a sharing tool. And what that means is it will share that information. You have a folder on your desktop and you can get to that desktop. You can get to it. The ransomware can get to it.
Backblaze, is that one?
I don't know. I try to stay agnostic in this slide.
Okay.
I wanted to make
The only about the Dropbox, it does have the version control. So
Yes.
we've actually had that problem with ransomware. And you can actually go back to the previous version and, where people.
Look, we could debate it the whole time, but the truth is your machine is dynamically attached to Dropbox. So when, not if, but when you get hit with the ransomware, it will go and it will mess those files up first. Carbonite and Dado and maybe the other pros, the backup is disconnected from your machine. Okay, but just remember what they were designed for. Dropbox was designed as a sharing tool, not as a backup tool. Ask your IT guy. The nice thing about us IT guys is we have an opinion about everything. Here's the top one of my making your life better. This is normally a little longer, but I'm going to make this quick. Choosing better passwords. Your dog's name is not a good password. But here's some other ideas for you to think about. Pick your favorite movie, the opening line for, or a quote. Don't do it, play it again, Sam, because that's been used. Your siblings' initials. Think about this for a second. How many people actually know all your siblings and their initials? My wife doesn't. Pretty good. This is my personal favorite, the address you grew up on. Because, perfect, thank you. Yeah, apparently we all.
Say those again.
How did I know that?
Go ahead.
She's been using the address you grew up on. It's great. Can everybody remember the address they grew up on?
Actually, my grandmother's address is even better.
That's double encryption right there.
What's the magical space bar?
I'll show you in a second. Or use a password manager.
That's the best.
Password managers are very good. A lot of people feel nervous about using them. Dashlane, I've heard good things about. The one I look at is this bad boy. Remember those scary people I mentioned at the beginning, the cybersecurity specialists? The guy I was working with was ex-military, and he goes, use this. And I'm like, why? And he goes, just use it, Ray. Don't question it. Because they actually pulled the code apart. So Bitwarden comes with a thumbs up. But there's bunches of password managers out there. So use them if you can, if you feel comfortable. And
Can't they find them? How does it work?
No, because you have, they can't get into them and all the, you can't actually get in if you forget your master password.
And if you do it, use two-factor authentication if you can. So you really lock that down. Question, sir.
Definitely recommend the use of a password manager. Something that I've learned to do, or a process that I use, is rather than using the same password with different websites, because if they know it once, they can know it all the time. I actually use a combination. I won't reveal the whole source, but I use a combination of the company name and then some sort of a magical suffix that I know.
Did you see the rest of these slides?
No, it's just, the point is every login you have has a different password, but it's easy for you to remember. Like if I go to Ford.com I'd use forward and then some sort of a suffix that I know what to do, so that people can't guess it. And that way, every login I have is different and is maintained in a password manager.
Yeah, but now we know. Recommend using
But figure it
password
out.
manager.
But figure it out.
However, this is Ray's recipe. This is the street I grew up on. Actually, it's not, but it was one of my apartments. Switch it around, stir it up a bit.
I like 10 Downing Street.
Oh, we could have done that. So 9 Penge Avenue, my root password becomes Penge Avenue 9. I can remember that. It's pretty easy. It's 10 characters. Add some special sauce. Put a $sign in there. Put an @ sign in. That is now what I call my root password. So I'm not going to forget that. It's going to be hard for somebody to figure it out. It's got numbers and capitals and letters in it, so it's good. And then I make it unique. Anybody want to guess what website that's for?
Amazon.
Thank you. Why?
It's the first letter and last.
First letter and last letter of the website I'm logging into is the beginning. What's the 6 at the end? Number of characters in the word Amazon.
Oh, wow, very clever.
Amazon, AN, 6 letters, AN, Penge Avenue, that's my root password in the middle, 6. Facebook, FK, never log into it anyway. Penge Avenue, my root password, *8. American Express, AS, Penge Avenue. It's a unique password.
For every site.
For every setting, for every website. More importantly, when they send you the email saying, I've got your password, I know how to log into your system, and if you don't, I reset it, everything's going to fall apart. Well, if they give you this, you know what site got hacked.
Right.
Where do you store all your passwords? On a separate Rolodex or on the computer?
Pen and paper is not hackable. If you want to write that down on a Rolodex, fine. And don't write the whole damn thing down. Just write Facebook and the beginning and end bit. And just remember the middle root password, because you know that, because you know the address you grew up on. And as long as you follow the same recipe every time, you'll end up with the same password. Or use a password manager. Is everybody good with that? Okay, I'm going to do one quick thing if I can. I'm running tight. I am going to make this available, as I said, as a PDF. This is a really good website. This website will tell you whether or not it will calculate, given today's technology, roughly how long it would take somebody to hack that password. Wow.
82 years.
Unless you're the NSA.
Yeah. Magic spacebar. Watch the number.
Century 9.
If you can put a spacebar in the middle of your password, not all websites support it. Look what that did to that age. Magic spacebar. Wow. And in a much longer lecture, I would explain why.
Do you, like what percentage of sites will allow you to do that? Is that?
Higher than you think.
Okay.
Higher than you think. But I'll give you an example. JetBlue won't let you put in percent signs. And I had a percent sign. No, you just gotta, you gotta do it. But password manager is, I'm gonna keep on that password manager.
Yeah, and password manager, it reminds me, it tells me if I've repeated the password, and it tells me if they've gotten.
Which one
the site's been LastPass.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I use. LastPass is good.
I love it.
One final website I'm gonna ask you to check into, which is this one. This actually tells you or not whether your email has been used in an attack. Uh-oh. My personal email has been used in one data breach. That's not great. The other one I'm going to show you on here is passwords. If you put in, they won't let me show it on screen, but I'm actually going to type let me in. Because everyone thinks that's such a great password. If I can do, there we go. Let me in has been used that number of times. And just because it's fun, I'm going to type the word password 1 because people use that. Really? Yeah, they do.
All the time.
Do you want to know how many? 2,427,158 times.
How about-
That's been used as that.
How about admin as a password? How about admin as a password?
As in just admin?
Yeah.
Surprisingly not. So,
Not as many.
I will talk about this website some more. It will be in the PDF. Please go use it. It's a free tool. They're secure, and it will let you validate how good your password is, whether it's been used before. And this password strength manager, let me tell you, the fun you can have between your spouse when you're saying, well, my password's got 93 centuries, and it's like, well, mine's 5 trillion. Back to my presentation very quickly. Do not use the same password, don't use common names, and don't use names that will be associated with it because they will find it on your Facebook if they find it. And the other thing is, I keep referring to they. They write programs to go get this information. So it's not some guy in Beijing who's doing this. He wrote a program to scrape all this information off. So they will come after you. Keep your password safe. So I messed up there. Use a password manager is the big one. Thank you for your time.
One question.
Sure.
Will you come back when you have more time? Obviously, we've had a lot. You don't have to answer right now.
I was only Katie actually. So the company that got hit, they're moving offices, and they decided 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, today. And I looked at my calendar and went, yeah, no, that's. Oh no. And when this was going to be Zoom, this was going to be fine, but unfortunately not. But thank you. And
Thank you
for the
for
question.
Now, one thing we also do, Ray, is we normally get a book from the library.
You get your
Yes.